What do you think patients should be asking their doctors when they are considering a clinical trial, when one is being offered to them? What are the sort of kind of basic questions? It really could be a never-ending list, but
Yeah,
maybe your top few.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of questions that patients should come to the appointment with, be prepared to ask if they're considering a clinical trial. Now, what are the treatments? Um, what's the objective of the trial? What's the question that's being asked? What are the um, procedures that are part of the clinical trial? What's the data that is available so far with the use of these agents that has brought them to whatever step of the clinical trial is going on? Um, how will my insurance cover the cost of the clinical trial? How frequently do I have to come in for visits on this trial compared to what would happen as a standard of care? When is the imaging being done to see whether or not the treatment approach is working or not? And finally, if I participate in this clinical trial, does it disqualify me for other clinical trials in the future that might come out that might be even more promising or that are available somewhere else? All these type of things I think are worth asking, and it's important to get good answers to those questions. And if the physician investigator who you're asking these questions doesn't know the answers, I think you should ask them to try to find the answers and get back to you with them
Yeah.
before you sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, there's also I think lifestyle considerations people should make sure to ask. Can I get pregnant if I'm on this trial? Can I get my partner pregnant, or am I supposed to be, abstaining from that? What would happen if I become pregnant? Can I take a vacation? Can I miss a dose and take a vacation? That sometimes, we want people to still live their life. And what happens if I forget to take one of my treatments? If it's pill therapy that you're supposed to be doing, what do I do if I miss a treatment? I think those lifestyle questions. Can I exercise? Is there a special diet? Those kinds of things. So I think it's important. These may not all be given to you in a perfect package at a visit, but it's important to ask them as a patient so that you feel that you have enough information to make a decision.
Yeah, I think it's important to note, although we've talked a lot about the good things about participating in a clinical trial from the patient perspective, but clinical trials are like recipes. There are rules that the investigators have to follow that are written into the trial to make it a good experiment. And therefore, there's a little bit less flexibility for patients who are in a trial than those that are getting standard of care. That said, there's often, if the trial is working and you get further along, there are ways of potentially getting more flexibility. And you should, if you're in a trial, you should be asking about. I really need to go to this graduation of my son, who's in a different state at the time when I'm supposed to get this dose. Is there something that can be done about this? And there usually is. We can know ahead of time. We can ask for a deviation, and that's usually acceptable, as long as we don't think it's at a time when it might make the approach unsafe or the treatment less effective.